For my casual at-home Victorian outfit, I wanted to find some underwear that would be really nice and comfortable to wear. If you've been watching me for a while, then you'll know that a little over a year ago, I actually knit myself a pair of combinations, which are really nice and warm for outdoor wear in the wintertime, but a little bit hot to wear when I'm just relaxing indoors at home, no matter the season. So while I do like reusing everything that I can, I did think it was probably a little smarter for me to make another set of 1890s undergarments. I was also really excited because I actually now own an extant pair of 1890s, I believe, or at least Victorian drawers that has hand knit lace. I wanted to use that as my inspiration and find a way, if I could, to recreate the lace on that set of drawers. Now, while I would love to copy the drawers 100% accurately, I'm currently a little bit more comfortable working off of patterns rather than drafting my own. So I went and I found this lovely Truly Victorian pattern to work from, which is a set of chemise as well as drawers. And I thought that they looked pretty close to my extant pair. Now, this extant pair is really interesting for me to study because what research I did, a lot of drawers in the Victorian era were actually open crotch or split crotch in order to allow for easier use of the restroom without having to strip off all of your layers. However, the pair that I own actually have their crotch sewn shut. But there is a lot of extra fabric in that area, as if maybe it was once open and then sometime later sewn closed, but I am definitely not enough of an expert to be able to determine exactly why these drawers are sewn shut and in which order it might have been altered in the past. So please, if you have any more idea of why these might have been a closed crotch pair of drawers, let me know, leave me a note. I always love reading all of your messages, even if I can't respond to all of them, because I find that you have fantastic insights into the pieces that I own and I study. Now, I was originally going to wait to release this video until I had fully finished this set of chemise and drawers, including recreating the hand knit set of lace on both the chemise and the drawers that I'm making. But let me tell you, knitting lace that fine takes a long time. So I'm going to first share with you the actual sewing together of the garments that I made, and then in a follow-up video I'll show you how I recreated the lace from the extant garments exactly. I'm actually really excited. I've made some progress already and I can't wait to share it with you, but that will be next time because knitting lace, like I said, takes an eternity. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with actually sewing together this set. One thing I do want to note is that I originally started this project about 6 months ago, so I definitely had to refresh myself a little bit with how I started out this project and then re-picking it up again 6 months later to actually finish it. So, as I mentioned before, I'm using Truly Victorian's TV102 pattern, which is a chemise and drawers based off of an original 1885 pattern. It's really interesting looking at this footage because, as I mentioned before, this is 6 months ago, so not only did it take me some time to remember what I did, but I also noticed that my hair is a lot shorter. I haven't yet gotten a haircut since quarantine began. After assembling and then cutting out all the pattern pieces, it was time to actually cut out the pieces from the fabric that I chose. And I chose this really lovely cotton fabric, which is only just slightly thicker than the cotton fabric of the extant piece that I have. So I'm really happy with the weight of this fabric. Now, this is my first chemise that I have ever sewn, and I will say it is incredibly simple, at least the version that I'm creating, which doesn't have any sleeves or anything, so I'm not setting sleeves, I'm just sewing up the sides and the shoulders, and I'm pretty much done until I have to add the lace. So that was pretty simple to make. However, I will say that I was quite puzzled by the drawers themselves. It was a little bit confusing to me exactly how to put together the drawers front and back facing. However, I will say that the markings on the pieces I think are a bit unclear. So you can see me here kind of pointing to the marking lines. I personally believe that the pattern that I printed out had the notches incorrect on the center front facings and center back facings. So if you look, the center front facing has 2 notches on the drawer piece itself, as well as the center front facing piece, which makes sense. However, when you look at the drawer back piece, it has 3 notches versus when you hold up the drawer back facing, it only has 2 notches. I believe that this drawer back facing here should have 3 notches. I sewed these pieces together, I think 4 different ways, and this is the only way that it made sense. So if you're sewing up TV102, just know if they haven't changed it since I bought it 6 months ago, the drawer back facing should have 3 notches. So the way I'm laying it out here, if your pieces with the front and back facings versus the drawer piece look approximately the same, then it should work well. Just for anyone else who might be struggling with this particular part. And of course, one thing to remember is that you want to make a right leg and a left leg version, so you want them to kind of look opposite to each other. I don't really know how to explain that well, but I'm going to try to lay them out both next to each other the way that I figured out how to sew them together best, and hopefully maybe you can pause the screen and check out your own pattern against what I made, and then hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. But this is the way that it actually finally ended up working for me to sew the drawer facings to each of the right and the left leg. Now 6 months have passed since I was struggling with the drawers, and I decided to finally pick this project back up. I had to take my pieces out from storage where I, of course, didn't carefully fold them, so everything was nice and wrinkled. So I spent some time really ironing everything out. I was very kindly gifted this beautiful display mannequin, which also helped me figure out exactly what I needed to do next. And I was able to pin on both the right and left leg of the drawers to figure out exactly how to finish the facings and add the cuffs most appropriately. The chemise, like I said before, is basically done and just goes over the top of the drawers. And I am really excited to see that original shape or initial shape of how this undergarment set is going to look like. I realized I was actually closer to being finished with a set of undergarments than I realized. All I had to do was sew down the facings, the side plackets, as well as add the waistband and cuffs. Realize now after I figured it out that you want it to be slightly different in the front versus the back. So in the front split crotch area, you want it to bow a little bit away from each other at the legs to make it easier to access to go to the restroom, versus the back, you want it to bow outwards a little bit to kind of cover your rear end a little bit better. I once again used the display mannequin, which is very much not my size, but helps me see something from a different perspective to kind of figure out how much overlap I wanted between the legs on my drawers and exactly which side I wanted to overlap which on the front and the back. That kind of helped me imagine how this was going to fit a little bit better before I added the waistband. Then I added on the 2 buttons at the back, as well as created the buttonholes in the front, and my drawers were complete aside from the lace trim. Looking back over the pattern, I think I missed a drawstring at the back, so maybe in the next video I'll also take the time to fix that in order to fit these a little bit better, because I will say they are maybe a little bit loose. The cotton tends to stretch a little bit over time. However, now the base of my 1890s chemise and drawers are finished, and I can't wait to add the hand knit trim. Okay, so to quickly summarize my current progress, I love how the chemise and drawers turned out. I like the sturdy cotton fabric that I used, and actually, after I put the drawers on last night in order to finish the hand sewing of the chemise, I was planning on taking them off so they wouldn't wrinkle, but they were so comfortable, I just didn't want to take them off. I have to say that this is an incredibly comfortable set of undergarments, and I'm really excited to wear it around the house and just lounging. Next time, I will be fully sharing the recreation of the lace for both trimming the top of the chemise as well as recreating the original lace to trim the bottom of the chemise as well as the drawers. I've also noticed that I've got a few questions in the past when I've worn the sweater in my introduction, which is the Rowena sweater, and I absolutely love wearing it, and I just love wearing my hand knit items, so I'll share the link to both the pattern and the yarn that I used, so if you want to recreate it yourself, you can take a look in the description. I've also got a few other links to my other social media sites and other ways that you can support me down in the description, and I appreciate any way that you decide to also interact with me in any of the other platforms, so feel free to check it out if you want to. Thank you again so much for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you again really soon as I finish up the actual trim for these chemise and drawers. Oh, right, and feel free to subscribe so that you can get the notification next time when I put out the video that actually finishes the set of underwear. Bye.